Talk to me about that deadline and tell me, what is the difference in that one day between September 30th and October 1st? What is going to change?
Grandfathering clause means you are governed under the old laws, and that is set to expire on September 30th. What it essentially protects against is future changes of laws impacting existing EB-5 investors. So if someone's decided that EB-5 is for them, they should definitely try to meet that deadline.
So Abhinav, you have been in this space, in the EB-5 space for 13 years. You've seen the space evolve. You've worked with a lot of investors. What are some things you think families should really look out for when selecting a partner or regional center in EB-5? And what are some of the red flags that they should keep in mind too?
So I'll go back to my attorney days and that attorney thought process, right? So there are different milestones in EB-5 journey. First one is getting a conditional green card or form I-526 or I-526E now. Second is I-829, removal of conditions. And third is repayment of capital. These are the three goals of every investor. So it is important to look at the regional center's track record, look at their I-526 or I-526E approval record, look at their I-829 approval record where it shows that they've created jobs, which has resulted in issuance of unconditional green cards, because conditional green card is good, but unconditional green card is better. And finally, repayment track record. I think that is one of the most important things, because that's the end all investors are looking for, right? They want their conditional green card, they want their unconditional green card, and then they want their money back.
Yes.
So that's where the journey ends. So it is very important to look at a regional center's track record of performance. Otherwise, you're just investing with a bunch of promises, right? So for me as an attorney, that was very important. So that's the positive side. That's what investors need to look out for. And then investors, I'll talk about things that you should avoid. I personally don't like vertically integrated regional centers, where, breaking it down, vertically integrated means that the developer and the regional center is controlled by the same person or entity. Because the traditional EB-5 model is that EB-5 institutions are lending institutions. We replace a bank in a capital stack. We loan the money to a project, collateralized by the assets of the project. So if anything goes wrong, we take over the assets. Now, if the borrower is also the regional center, that means the lender and borrower are both controlled by the same entity. They will not sue themselves to get your capital out of the project. Also, where is the third party validation of what the valuation they're proposing for the project, right? So for me, that's a very big red flag. I feel like there are so many regional centers out there that keep promoting, oh, we have an I-956F approved project. That doesn't mean anything. It's just a business plan submitted to USCIS by a law firm, by the way, not even the regional center. And you get that approval and regional centers are promoting it, but then investors are getting blinded by that. They don't look into the quality of the project. They don't look into the structuring of the project, or they don't even look at the track record of the regional centers. So that for me is a major red flag. And that's on investors. They should be going into taking a deep dive into the projects and looking beyond I-956F approvals. So that, and then obviously you have power of internet, you have AI, LLMs. Research about the regional center. See if they've had bankruptcies in the past. Google their project names. Find out more about the regional center and ask them. This is financial industry. They need to answer your queries truthfully. Otherwise, it's misrepresentation to sell financial securities, which is a securities fraud, right? End of the day, and they'll get sued by SEC. So investors should get everything in writing.
I'm hearing accountability as a big theme from all the points that you just mentioned.
Absolutely.
And on the point specifically about returning investor capital, could you just share a bit of GGG's track record there? How much have you returned in capital across how many families?
Yeah, so we have repaid over $300 million to more than 600 families.
Wow.
And till date, last 15 years, we've never defaulted in repaying our investors. So that really sets us apart from majority of the industry. Even the bigger regional centers that have been around for a longer time have raised more capital.
So there is a lot of buzz in the ecosystem about statutory deadlines. Talk to me about those deadlines. Who do they impact? Why do they matter?
So there are three deadlines that we are staring at currently. The first one is September 30th, 2026. Second is December 31st, 2026. And the third is September 30th, 2027.
Okay.
The most important deadline is September 30th, 2026, because that's when the grandfathering clause is lapsing. Grandfathering clause protects existing investors from future changes of laws.
Mm-hmm.
So if someone's decided that EB-5 is for them, they should definitely try to meet that deadline.
Okay.
The second deadline, which is December 31st, is important in a way because while the protection under grandfathering clause goes away on September 30th, 2026, there's still a 3-month window to file the petition with 800K investment amount.
Okay.
And because starting January 1st, 2027, the investment amount by law is set to go up. The law says that the investment amount will be increased by the cumulative rate of inflation over the last 5 years. So at the minimum, investors are staring at a sticker price of 900, can be 937, 500 according to some LLMs. And finally, the entire regional center program is set to sunset on September 30th, 2027, after which EB-5 is not even an option unless Congress extends the regional center program.
Got it. So it sounds like September 30th, 2026 is a very important deadline. It is 4 months away.
Mm-hmm.
For families, investors, individuals that have decided, yes, I want to do EB-5, but have not invested, not selected a project, what do they need to do now?
Well, they need to retain an attorney yesterday.
Okay.
That's a great starting point. They need to reach out to regional centers and get PPMs or private placement memorandums for the projects, do their due diligence, and obviously have liquid capital available for funding these projects once they find something that they like, and give their attorneys about 4 to 8 weeks to document the source of funds, put together that petition, and give them enough buffer time to ship it to USCIS. Just in case there's some mishap with the carriers, they'll have buffer time to kind of refile if required.
Okay, so they need to start this now. What feedback or advice would you give these families weighing that decision of whether to do it now versus later?
So my feedback is, if you're sold on EB-5, if you know you're going to do it, it's better you do it sooner rather than later and get that protection in, get that certainty in. Having said that, don't rush this decision. Do not invest in a shady project just because good projects are not available. Because again, it goes back to, you may get your green card, but if you lose your capital, is it even worth it? Now, there's one more thing. It's not enough to just file an I-526E petition. The law says it needs to be properly filed. So it takes a lot of work. You need to retain an attorney. The attorney needs to document every dollar that you're investing. So source of funds work needs to be done properly. And then you need to give the law firm enough time to ship your petition to USCIS. Because guess what? If FedEx or UPS mess up and they are unable to deliver it, or the package gets lost and the deadline is gone, well, you did everything you could, but you still did not get the benefits.
Wow.
So investors need to be proactive once they've made up their mind.
Can you share a story or an anecdote of maybe an investor you've worked with, or someone you've seen, like a student specifically, whose life has just been transformed because of the EB-5 program?
Yeah, a couple of examples. So one of my family friends, he's in North Carolina, and his trigger for EB-5 was he was passed over for promotion twice. Because if he accepted the promotion, his job profile would change, resetting his EB-2 priority date. So he filed with us in a project in the Bay Area, and he received his EAD, and he went to his supervisor and he's like, I'm ready to take that promotion. And he got it.
Wow.
And then he quit, and then he joined another firm at a higher position after that.
Good for him.
All because of not only the green card, just the EAD, because it's not restricted by an employer anymore.
Yeah.
So that was one. And the second was, I recently met a gentleman in Singapore. And again, his son was reaching the end of OPT, did not make the H-1B lottery. So he filed his EB-5 last year, and his son has received EAD and advanced parole. And he gave me a thank you card and a gift, and he's like, you've changed his life. Yeah. We were here worrying about him exiting the United States, maybe never making it back. Because here's the thing, if you study in the States and you worked on OPT, and then you don't find an employer and you have to leave the country, the chances are you can't even return as a visitor.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so if you don't have a visitor visa, it's a ding against you because first of all, you're in your 20s already.
Right.
Secondly, you're employable in the United States and you've shown an intent to live there. All these are red flags for a visitor visa. So that's what the concern of that parent was, that, hey, not only will my child be out of the States, but he may not be able to re-enter the States to go for job interviews, right? He cannot go for in-person interviews.
You have some incredible founders that have had a vision and have accountability to these families and to these investors. Who are they?
Well, the firm was established in 2011.
Okay.
It was co-founded by Stephen K. and Mr. Willie Brown. Stephen's been an attorney in the Bay Area for over 55 years. He specializes in real estate laws. He has represented publicly traded real estate groups in the past. And our co-founder, Mr. Willie Brown, he's an attorney, but he comes from a political background. He's the ex-mayor of San Francisco, and prior to that, he was in the California State Assembly for 30 years.
Wow.
And so these two gentlemen started the firm in 2011. In 2013, Mark Jorgensen joined our firm as the co-CEO, and he's a Navy veteran. Then he got his MBA from Stanford, and he's worked at major banks. He's worked at real estate hedge funds, and he's done deal sourcing and deal due diligence for the last 25 years.
Wow.
And I joined the team in 21, and I had the revenue function. So the flow is that we get projects because of Stephen and Willie's connections. Mark and his team do due diligence on the projects, and my team takes the project to market. And we have a strong team of 40 people, primarily based in the Bay Area. And then we have an office in Irvine, California, one in Chicago, one in New York. And some of our team members are EB-5 investors. We sponsored their H-1B visa because the wait times for China-born investors was too long and they would have lost their student status. So we ended up sponsoring their H-1B and they're part of the team. Uniquely, Golden Gate Global is the only regional center that's doing projects with EB-5 as senior debt. And our debt cannot be subordinated in the future. So there are projects out there where EB-5 is senior debt, but if the developer takes a bank loan, it subordinates EB-5 debt. So that's a nuance that most people miss. So we can talk about that if that's of any value.
What is so unique about GGG's approach to safeguarding investor capital?
I think at a base level for any project, a credible developer is very important. But then it goes to the capital stack or the capital structure of the project. More equity, the better. Shows skin in the game.
Sure.
Right? But then also seniority of EB-5 debt in the capital stack. So fortunately for us, because the pace at which we raise capital and the amount of capital we are able to raise, we've been able to take out banks entirely from the capital stack, making EB-5 senior debt. So if anything goes wrong with the project and it gets liquidated, our investors are the first ones to get repaid, versus the typical EB-5 structure is that there is a bank loan, then there is mezzanine debt, then there is developer equity. So if anything goes wrong, the bank takes the first dollar. If anything's left, it comes to the EB-5 investors. So we've been lucky, and knock on wood, we've been raising a lot of capital. As a result, we are senior debt in our project.
Thank you so much again.
You're welcome.
Really appreciate this conversation, and it was wonderful to hear your thoughts and insights on the industry.
Thank you for having me.